Okay, public service announcement. So everyone's been seeing the photos I've been putting up on Facebook about family members and way back with Julia and I, and fitness competitions and birthday parties and poor young Trey, and people are like, why are you posting all these? So the story goes like this. It goes back as a photographer. So yeah, I just had to take a call. But long story short, I've got a plethora of files that you're probably seeing on many social media feeds. And it all stems back to, like, as I said, as a photographer, I have a bit of an embarrassing moment that I'll share with you, and why all this stuff's coming up. So back in 2008, 2009, I was using a product called the Drobo, and that Drobo was a storage unit that stored a ton of photography. It had 4 disk drive bays, and it was redundant. So if one drive failed, the other 3 could still rebuild the data. It was no problem. If 2 drives failed, same thing, could still build out all the files back. Unfortunately, that didn't account for electrical failures with the components inside of the Drobo. So I was hosed. Not only was my professional work stored there, but also everything personally from 2002 when I went digital on through 2009. Yeah, just a little bit of throw up in my mouth there a bit about that. But to be honest, it was an eye-opener. I had been backing up what I thought was the proper way, and in each of my commercial clients also received a CD, and I created another CD or DVD of the raw file. So that was all there, but I thought it was covered personally, and I wasn't. Sorry, I had to take another phone call. So that led me to a bit of a conundrum. I lost data, and more importantly, I lost memories that I thought were unrecoverable. Drobo did try to remedy the situation, but they were not able to. I had to send it back. They were not able to recover the files, and everything was corrupted. That said, I did make backups intermittently of some of my files personally, and those were all done on DVD and CDs, which today my MacBook doesn't even have a CD DVD drive. So I had another portable drive that I was trying to use, and it was kicking out errors. And it wasn't until a couple days ago I said, I've got to try to find a way to see if any of these CDs are salvageable. I lost all the data on the disk drives. Maybe I can pull some of these things back. So I bought a PC/Mac DVD burner writer. I had originally had a Mac version of a SuperDrive. Wasn't cutting it, just wouldn't open the files. It would open one disk out of maybe 50. My son's supposed to be coming out of school here, so checking on. So anyway, I bought another drive and I pulled it down, and I went, okay, I'm gonna check them out. And lo and behold, I'd say 9 out of 10 of the discs work just fine. Some of them have degraded over time and just didn't last. Some of the files are corrupted. Sometimes the disc is not readable at all. But I've gone through about 50 of the 400 or 500 DVD CDs that I have, and I'm transferring them over to a solid state drive. But more to the point, backups. Are you currently taking a backup? If you're not taking a backup, your data doesn't exist. Back in 2008, 2009, I thought, oh, this Drobo's got it. It can recreate the files even through a failure. Unless your data exists in not 1, not 2, but 3 different places, your data doesn't exist. So what I've done is I've come up with a very robust system of backups. It's been going on since late 2010, and like I said, I'm remiss. I didn't have a robust backup strategy. So I scoured the internet back then and found a system that worked for me. First things first, I keep all of my photography on a set of G Technology drives. It's a small tower, nothing like what I had used with the Drobo. So I keep it on a drive. That drive every night is mirrored at 2 a.m. and it's copied to a secondary drive. In addition to that, those files are also sent up to the cloud. They're sent up to a backup service. Currently I use CrashPlan for Business. They have a personal account, I believe still, that may be phased out, but it allows me backups on up to 5 computers, unlimited drives, etc. So they're backed up to a physical disk, they're backed up to the cloud, and they also exist there on my desktop. In addition to all of that, it's backed up to a secondary backup drive that backs up my computer and all the files. So it seems like overkill, but if something goes awry this time, I'm good. So lesson learned, back the shit up. Scratch. Lesson learned, back it up. Unless your data exists in 3 places, it doesn't exist. As a personal backup system, maybe 2 is good for you. I don't know. If you back it up to the cloud and you have one in hand as your primary, fine. But what you will find out is that eventually all disk drives fail. It's not when or if, it's scratch that. It's not if they fail, it's when they fail, because they all will. So even solid state drives eventually start losing sectors and space, and you just lose files. So that to note. One pain in the butt though, if you do only back up to the cloud and you lose your data, and you have years and 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 years of photos, data, or otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time pulling it down from the internet and resaving it. So having a local copy is handy because it's immediately there. Some backup services offer to ship you a drive 2-3 days later. Some offer you a ridiculous price of shipping you one overnight, but it takes a while. So I suggest a local backup at minimum, a cloud backup as well, and both if you really want to make sure your data really exists. Pictures of grandma's 80th birthday really mean something.